This is Clint Locklear with the Farmer's Grove. I'm at my house in my Zone 2 garden. It's just really getting everything in the ground. Been doing a lot on the farm, but I wanted to show y'all a technique that your children can do to grow whatever they want to grow, because it's so simple. You really don't have to worry about a whole lot, and it kind of takes care of itself. Now, I'm calling this the Caveman garden, because I've got a buddy that makes fun of everything I do and says it's so simple that a caveman can do it. So that's what we're going to call this, because I don't think it's got a name. But it's just looking at plants. It's looking at what they need and what is easy to do. Because basically, when I'm growing, what's in this bed is a black sweet corn, some very ancient winter squash, some regular squash, and some old heirloom beans intermixed with the goji berries. I don't want to spend a lot of time on something that's not permanent. Growing the corn and the squash is not permanent. Goji berries, permanent. Blackberries, more goji berries, permanent. Food forest, with all the fruit trees going down through there, permanent. Annual production of vegetables, not permanent. So I don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time putting this in, but I want to explain, because I got some other videos to show how to do this, because it is so simple that it just works. So what I have is, and I'm going to show on the back because you can see what happened pretty quick. This right over here, I just put out a line of hay all the way across, and then where you see the compost right here, I took my shovel and just scraped it back to bare earth. And then I put in a row of hay. Now this is not spread out hay. These are the individual blocks. And it'll really keep weeds and stuff down pretty good. And then I'll put compost in there. And I've got a block of hay. And you can see everywhere blocks of hay in between. I've got the compost. I scrape it down to bare earth just enough to get where there's no vegetation there. I'm not digging or anything. I drop the seeds inside of the trench, and then I pour compost on top of it and walk away. That is what I'm calling caveman gardening, because you can't get any easier this. And you can see stuff has no trouble coming up. They haven't been planted that long. We've got all kind of corn growing up through here. You see some of the beans coming up, some of the winter squash coming up. It's doing just fine. Once this gets wet, which it already has, it holds a tremendous amount of moisture in this area, because it's solid blocks of hay. And the compost in the middle, I've only got to put about 2 inches wide of compost in there after I drop the seeds in it, and that is pretty much it. So yes, caveman gardening, so easy a caveman can do it. There's not a lot of work involved. I don't have to till. I don't really have to worry about anything. Now, my chickens have been all over the food forest in this part of the yard all winter long, so it's going to have plenty of nitrogen from them, plus what's in the compost that's coming out of the chicken runs. So I won't have to do anything else with this pretty much but just harvest. And it's going to be a jungle, and we'll come back several times and look at it, because you'll see where all the beans and stuff and the squash are spreading out underneath it, and it's just going to be a cool thing. But I didn't have to spend a lot of energy on something that's not permanent, because it's annual. I'd rather spend my time on extending food forest, planting perennial herbs, doing things like that, than I would growing corn. But I do like to eat the sweet corn. I like to eat the squash. I like to eat the beans. And pretty simple stuff. Caveman gardening, using your head instead of your back.